Hello, wonderful people. Wherever you are on the earth plane, the highest in me bows to the highest in you. Namaste is one of the highest salutations because we choose to honor the divinity within ourselves and the divinity within others. We also bow down our head a little, which is symbolic to the fact that we are coming to a place of surrender. We are allowing our brain coherence to actually surrender to our heart coherence. Because when we live lives aligned from our heart centeredness or with the open heart, we are living more aligned lives. I also want to thank you for choosing to continue on this journey of self discovery and self realization. What we are essentially doing is at least once a week, we are creating space for our thoughts and our actions to come in alignment, and there's space in the center for the spirit to enter. When we live our lives in surrender to the guidance from the spirit, we are living more meaningful and more purposeful lives, right? Thus, I encourage you to keep making time to come back to the guidance every now and then throughout the week. I know a lot of you share your experiences with me personally and also on the group sometimes. And I am so thankful for that because we are just multiplying that victorious energy for everybody on the group together. So, are you taking time to just reflect back on what comes through? Or how can you sit and journal? Or are you sharing this guidance with a friend or a family member? I can actually share one instance where in the past week I realized I had an opportunity to implement the guidance that was coming through. Please remember that we are co creating the magic in our lives, right? I am an instrument and I'm holding space so that I can bring in this collective energy where we are getting direction how we want to live our life. So when the guidance comes through, please know that there will be a situation in your life or there will be an opportunity in your life where you can either choose to go through it unconsciously or you make a conscious choice, you connect back to the guidance and you live through it a little consciously. For example, just in the past week, there was an instance where I could have acted out, acted out of habit maybe, or I could have taken a moment to pause, to connect with the guidance, and then continue living through that situation. And I did exactly that. There was something that happened, and I could feel a lot of anger come up in me, and this has happened after a very long time. And I took a moment. I was aware that, I have this anger surging within me, and I consciously chose not to act on my anger. I intently chose to think of the guidance and share my guidance or share my anger with the person and not act out on that. So I opened my conversation by an inquiry, by a question trying to understand why whatever has happened has actually happened. And when I chose to do that, within a couple of minutes, we were able to arrive to the root cause of the situation, which wasn't visible, and we were able to resolve the situation, right? And through that conversation, also, there was a point in time between those 5 7 minutes where I realized that my voice was rising more than usual and my voice was quivering. It was shivering because of the anger. And I apologized to the person right then and there. And I explained it to them that I don't want to act out and I don't want to vent out my anger on you, but I really want to share it because this is a pain point and I need to understand what is the challenge so that we can redress the situation together. And this happened, and within a couple of minutes thereafter, I was able to center myself again, right? And if I hadn't really consciously navigated through this situation, possibly I could have started off my monologue to the person, giving them a piece of my mind, and then after that I would have lost my own personal peace of mind because I would have just kept brewing in the situation in my head long after that had panned out, right? And I would have come to a point of maybe feeling regret, maybe feeling bad. But how magically, just within minutes, I was able to accept my feelings of anger which were coming up. I was able to share my feelings, and then we were able to come out of the situation without me staying attached to the energetic value associated to the situation or to the people in conversation. एंड माई फ्रेंड्स आई एम जस्ट शेयरिंग दिस टू लेट यू नो कि अगर गाइडेंस आ रही है देयर विल डेफिनेटली बी टाइम्स जब आप जो गाइडेंस आई है उसको इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकते हैं, और आप ये तभी समझ सकते हैं जब आप थोड़े सतर्क रहें, थोड़े अवेयर रहें. आई वॉज अवेयर ऑफ द emotion rising within me, and that is why I chose to pause for a second. I created a little gap, and I just leveraged that gap to choose to navigate in a different manner. So I just hope that you are also able to implement all the guidance coming through. You can also share your experiences through comments if the guidance resonates with you, even on YouTube going forward. So having said that, now let's see what is it that's likely to come up for this week, right? So I have created space and I have already connected with the higher selves of all the members on this soul guidance group. So Spirit, please tell us what is for our highest and best. So as I shuffle, this guidance already coming through, and I'm going to take that into consideration while we understand the messages that are going to come through. So Spirit, please show us in the coming week what is the message for us to stay aligned to our highest best. Please let me know. Yes. So what is the energy going to be like? What is the challenge? And who is going to be our ally? So we've drawn 3 cards, and what is likely to come up this week? The Queen of Wands. That means this week we will have opportunities to bring our creativity into the forefront, to bring our confidence into picture. There could be situations where we will be very confused, we will be unclear and uncertain, but the week is going to ask us to march ahead with self-confidence, with self-assurity. And when does one come to a point of confidence? When the person knows what the person believes in. So it's a time for us to take a step back, connect to our values, understand what we are creating. Does it really matter to us? Does it really mean to us? And then can we move forward with our passion, with our creativity, with our confidence? The Queen of Wands is somebody who's very feisty, somebody who has a very clear purpose, who has advocated a cause, and now with that they are creating a very nurturing and a loving environment around to cohabit with other people. So can you do that? Can you feel that confident? Are you so connected to whatever it is that you're doing? This coming week is asking us to put into perspective those aspects of our life. And what is going to be the challenge? The challenge is going to be, there's going to be a lot of fear that is likely to come up. And it is telling us to not keep holding on to things that don't serve us anymore. Our ideas of ourselves, our old patterns, our old behaviors. What is it that I can let go of, and maybe I can bring my creativity into picture. Maybe I can bring my passion into picture. Because if you're going to work from a very constricted place. If you're not going to allow your heart to expand, you will not be able to feel this warm energy. You will not feel your passion. You will not feel your ambition, right? So you have to choose to not keep holding on to things. Because if you're going to operate from a place of fear, your foundation is going to be very weak. This is trying to bring our attention to what we want to create. You remember the last week, the card that had come up was the Three of Pentacles. We are clearly making progress, we are moving forward, and what we've done is now bringing us to a place where, if at all you think that you are holding on to things, you are a little fearful, your way out is going to be your own creativity, your own passion, your own confidence. And what is going to help us, my friends, in this coming week when there are situations where the fear might come up? The King of Wands. What this really signifies is the fact that we have to keep our eyes fixed to the horizon. We have to look at the bigger picture, and then we are supposed to march forward with our confidence. We have to create that space for ourselves where we are supporting ourselves and we are supporting others also. If you are going to stay very narrow minded, if you're going to look at things in isolation, you will not be able to navigate through whatever it is that's going to come up. So, to come to a point of opening your heart, what you have to do is you have to look at what lies ahead, look at the bigger picture. What is good for me? How will this benefit me? And how will this benefit others as well at the same time? So, this week we have two cards from the suit of fire, which means that this is going to be a week where we will be asked to bring our creative juices into play. If there are situations, can we look at more innovative ways of going ahead with this? Also, whatever we are creating with the new year intentions for us, how are we keeping space for our own personal creativity to come in? Because when you operate with creativity, you are in a more aligned space, and whatever you are creating will benefit you as well as the people around, right? And while we were shuffling the cards, I had certain jumper cards which are guidances which had to be taken into consideration while going through the week. And the guidance that is there is the Moon, which is a major arcanum card, and the Two of Swords. So, what is this telling us? This is really telling us that, there is definitely a lot of darkness that is around, and this is a major theme that is going on around for everybody for that matter. And during this point of darkness, can you really see the hidden light? In the Moon, there is the disguised sun. So whatever is appearing on the face of it, even in this particular moment of darkness, there is some light. Can we focus on that light, right? When we are listening to so many things around us, how can we choose to keep our focus on things that are still serving us, right? Because we are in this plane of duality, the earth plane. There are things which are always going to be in extremes. There are opposites available all the time. So even right now, when there is so much of loss and grief, can we focus and see where people are actually coming out and supporting? At this point in time, I know of so many people, myself included, who are praying, sending healing vibes, and being available in whatever potential and capabilities they have to be of help to other people. It could be by way of a conversation, by way of just helping them turn inwards and connect to the resources that they might have. It could be just by way of trying to look for assistance when they are in need of resources for family members who are trying to cope up, right? So when I'm seeing so much of darkness, I'm also seeing the light in it. also the fact that we are listening to so many news related to loss, related to grief, and it's bringing us into a little space of acceptance of death as an ongoing part of life, right? Because we are on a soul journey and we continue to live this life. But if we are going to only stay identified with what we are doing while we are living this human life, we will forever be scared of death. But this is teaching us that if we can choose to have a harmonious life, our death will also be harmonious. It will be like a passing through. We will go on and continue doing whatever it is that we are doing at this point in time. So, whatever is happening, can we focus our attention on the light in the darkness right now? I was also having a conversation with a friend, and we were talking about how this time of the year we've had more rains in Pune than all the last 10 or 12 years put together in the last 1 week. Like, we really not see so much of maybe rain in April end for that matter, right? And we were just discussing about the weather in other parts of the country as well. So possibly because people was indoors last year, there were lesser amount of vehicles on the roads. The global warming took a little backseat, and there is chance for nature to come back to its original cycles. So that is what is happening. Can we look at the positives alongside being in acceptance of whatever is happening to us at this point in time? Because it's only times of darkness that allow us to come to a place of acceptance of the truth. What is the real truth, right? So, this is what we have to do. And the Two of Swords, it's really telling us that we are going to be blinded by our thoughts, we are going to be blinded by our intellects, we are going to be blinded by what our mind is telling us. But can you choose not to get blinded by what your thoughts are telling you? Whatever fear is coming up, whatever everybody is talking about, and are you focusing on that, or you are choosing to look for the light in all of this? Because this is so closely connected to this, right? Because this is what is going on for us. This is likely to come up. And whenever you are in that situation where you are stuck between two options, you don't know what to do, you can either choose to go with the dark narrative, or you can choose to turn to the narrative of the light. What is it that we are choosing? We have to make a very conscious choice, right? And if we are not going to stay so stuck in our heads, in our thoughts all the times, there's going to be place for creativity. There's going to be place for confidence, because thoughts are repetitive. On an average, 90% of the thoughts that we have today are a repetition of the thoughts that we've had yesterday. So if you can cultivate passion, you can cultivate creativity, if you can cultivate confidence, then the thoughts that you are going to keep having are going to be like nurturing thoughts. And with that, you will actually be able to create a king's empire, an empire that allows people to thrive. And it allows you to thrive, it allows your people, your loved ones to thrive. So, this is a very deep guidance that's come through, friends. I hope you will be able to make the most of it. And just for my friends who follow a little bit more of Hindi, I'm going to quickly try and recap the message that's going to come up. आने वाले हफ्ते में हमें अपनी क्रिएटिविटी और अपने आत्मविश्वास के साथ समय निकालना है, क्योंकि ऐसा होगा कि हमें शायद कोई ख्याल आए जब हमारा फियर सबसे ज़्यादा सामने आएगा. वी विल बी कॉट बिटवीन ऑप्शंस. हमें दो चीज़ों के बीच में किसी एक चीज़ का सिलेक्शन करना होगा. तो क्या हम सोच सकते हैं कि हमारी वैल्यूज़ क्या हैं, हमारा पैशन क्या है, हमारा एम्बिशन क्या है, और हम वो चूज़ कर सकते हैं डिसीजन. और हमको इन सब में क्या सपोर्ट करेगा अगर हम अपना नज़रिया बड़ी पिक्चर्स पे फिक्स रखें, या देखें कि ये हमें पूरी पिक्चर के माध्यम में कहाँ हेल्प कर सकता है, और फिर वो डिसीजन लें, रादर दैन कि हम देखते रहें एक नैरो पर्सपेक्टिव से, कि एक ही दिशा में देख रहे हैं, एक ही दिशा में सोच रहे हैं, और बिना किसी क्रिएटिविटी के डिसीजन ले रहे हैं। अगर हम ऐसा नहीं करते हैं और हम अपना दायरा बढ़ा देते हैं, फिर हम ज़्यादा अच्छे से ये वीक में नेविगेट कर पाएंगे, बहुत क्रिएटिविटी के साथ नेविगेट कर पाएंगे, और जो भी डार्कनेस आ रही है, जो भी सिचुएशंस हैं, जो भी लॉस और जो भी ग्रीफ हो रहा है, क्या उसमें हम अपने ख्यालों से ना जुड़ते हुए, अपनी फीलिंग्स को मद्देनज़र रखते हुए लाइट की ओर चलने की कोशिश करें? Can we embrace the light within ourselves? So friends, this is a very clear message. I earnestly hope that we are able to navigate through the coming week with this guidance in our hearts, in our minds. You are a beautiful soul, and I wish you the very best for the week to come.